Finally, new rules since award season wraps up this Sunday with the Oscars, after which we take a year off to replenish the world supply of Ozempic. It's time to welcome back Real Time's own award show, the Cojones, the award show. The award show that recognizes those who, at the risk of their reputations and livelihoods, have fought back against cancel culture, whether it comes from the left or the right.
Tonight, from Hollywood, the second annual Cojones Awards, honoring outstanding achievement in growing a pair. And now, here's your host, Bill Maher.
Thank you, and welcome to the Cojones. I'll be your host for the next 4.5 hours, and tonight, we've got a lot of anxious nominees hoping to get their hands on my balls. So let's get right to it. Our first Cojones goes to Dartmouth University President Sion Baylock, who reinstated standardized testing at admissions, and by bringing back the SAT, made a clear and brave statement. It's not racist to test if high school students know shit. But if you're stupid, don't panic. Harvard, Stanford, and Princeton are still test optional. Yes, it's a great time to be a dumbass, but not at Dartmouth. So, Sion, for bringing back testing, you get these testes. Our next award goes to Rosie Blair, who had been a plus-sized body positivity influencer, but then, like Leah Remini leaving Scientology, realized that obesity wasn't a positive at all. In fact, it sucks. And lost over 60 pounds, which for our British viewers is the equivalent of losing Victoria Beckham. But not everyone was happy with Rosie's choice, and the response from the people who are so against body shaming was to scream, "Shame!" But Rosie refused to be bullied and said, "I have zero remorse for being public about my weight loss. 2 years ago, I couldn't wipe my own ass." We'll skip the handshake, but for standing up for health over ideologically driven insanity, this award is for you. Our next Cojones goes to California State Senate leader Tony Atkins, because 8 years ago, California did a real California thing and banned business travel from any of its state employees to any state in America where the laws about gender identity and expression weren't up to California standards, forgetting that no one is ever up to California standards. Which meant that any Cali state worker, from congressman to college football coaches, weren't allowed to visit on business half the country, evil totalitarian police states like Iowa. But Tony Atkins said, "Having grown up lesbian in the South, I know from personal experience growing up in a rural community where it is more conservative, that the way to change people's minds is to have direct contact. Polarization is not working." So last year, California repealed the ban. We can trade with Ohio again. So, Tony, these Cojones are for you, which you can display on your mantle ironically. Our next award goes to Garth Rooks, who sings country music, so naturally he owns a bar. And naturally, last year, he got a lot of shit for continuing to serve Bud Light, because, as we all know, it makes you gay or worse, tolerant. But it took guts for Garth to not throw Bud Light under the bus, because country singers are beholden to red state fans. It's why there's no song called "She Thinks My Prius Is Sexy." But Garth just said, if you're an asshole, there are plenty of other places to go. and that he wasn't going to stop selling a certain beer because a trans woman once touched a can. For reminding us that there's also a cancel culture mob on the right. Garth, here are two more friends that hang in low places. And finally tonight, the Cojones Lifetime Achievement Award for excellence in not giving a fuck. This year goes to J.K. Rowling, who's famous for two things: a massive transfer of wealth from the world's children to her checking account, and for being endlessly vilified for refusing to bend the knee and kowtow to the one true opinion that a biological woman and a trans woman are completely indistinguishable in every way. I'm sorry you had to hear that, kids. Feel free to call a suicide hotline or post an angry TikTok. When a trans woman was convicted recently of murder and torturing cats, Rowling was incensed that Sky News and other British media would not include in their reporting that this person was transgender, and so tweeted, "These are not our crimes. I'm so sick of this shit." And I don't blame her. How many biological women torture cats? None. It's a guy thing. Just like murder is mostly a guy thing. The fact that a person committed it while wearing a wig and lipstick is irrelevant. But what's not a guy thing is having balls. And lady, you got 'em.